Welcome to The Art of Success, a podcast that explores the deeper dimensions of achievement. I'm your host, Daria Molnar, an ambitious yet soul-centered entrepreneur, coach, artist, a loving mom and wife, and in this space we'll dive deep into what it truly means to succeed. Thank you for being here. Your presence makes this journey even more meaningful. Today's episode is going in an entirely different way than I was expecting it to go, than I was planning it to go. I had notes for it, I had an idea for it, frame for it, but it just wasn't coming through. And then life happened and quite a few significant changes in my life happened. And basically I decided to be guided by that and following these changes, I want to come to you like this, real and raw and reflecting on the situations where I actually am right now. And I think this is also like me actually creating some treasure for the future as well, when I'll be like listening to this episode with, months and years distance. And I'll be looking at like to my past self, like, oh, you were here in this? Wow, you were going through this? Well, yeah. So I think it's going to be cool. And I do believe that it's also, or I'm planting the seeds into this episode for it to be encouraging to you also. If you are right now in the Scorpio season going through some changes, going through some shifts in your identity, in your business, in some important for you perspectives, and anything like that, would resonate with you, I truly believe that you're going to find something in this episode to take with you and to use to get inspired or get some comfort from that we're all going through changes. I believe actually speaking to my clients and speaking to people around me, I'm actually really feeling that we're all in this together. So like things are really real now. They feel extremely real. And this is the good thing. I'm actually super excited for it. But sometimes, and I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I'm not that excited. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like super scared and lost. And I feel like I was saying, I think the other day to my husband that I just feel confused and lost. This is how I put it. I was like, yes, this is exactly how I feel. And I do feel that this is valid. But just as much I feel some part of me is feeling lost and confused, and I'll explain soon why, I'm also feeling super empowered and super excited for like, what is this confusion gonna bring? Because, and now my invitation for you to actually even pause this episode, that I'm gonna be giving you these hints, or just ask yourself, okay, so when was it that actually something great happened? Right after I was going through some super unclear, super chaotic, some period where I felt like really lost and just confused and not finding sense or purpose in anything, and nothing would be giving those signs that all is, making sense. So just maybe track back to those, because I believe that you will have them. And I think it's really important to have these like in our library kind of thing of events, and be conscious about it and be really willing to get that book out of your library anytime that you want, basically on your demand, because it's your own library of your events, experiences, ideas, perspectives, etc. And it's really powerful. So that's why I'm like, I can be going through some, life-changing, business-changing things, and at the same time, like seeing that bigger perspective of like, oh my God, it's actually great what's happening, because I know it's gonna end up super like the most amazing way, or the most amazing scenario that I can even imagine, or actually I cannot even imagine, because it's gonna be that good. Of course, we all are trying to imagine. There are some of us who are really, maybe including me, who are always focusing on the best possible scenarios. Hello, other Sagittarius. I'm sure that you will know what I'm talking about. But it's really, I believe it's a chance. I mean, it's a choice. then we get to choose what scenarios in our heads do we want to be painting, we want to be picturing, we want to be feeding and adding more energy to. And just as much as we can be feeding our fears and those, worst possible scenarios, which I actually think sometimes it's really helpful to picture the both like worst possible scenarios, in a sense of what's really that bad that can happen, like what's the worst that can happen. This can be a great morning alarm in a way to like wake up, like it's actually not such a big deal. And most of the things that we fear, they never really become real anyway, so it's not really that much worth of our focus and energy. But I believe, there's certain alchemy present into this. And I guess I'm a little bit vague about the topic, but you already know the headline of this episode, which is the growing pain. So I believe, that we're in the right, in the right house, or like in the right track to getting somewhere. So it's actually really cool. Another thing is that I decided I'm not gonna be cutting these episodes. They're just gonna be raw. But they're gonna be, I think, even more authentic. So I do believe, and I'm always connecting prior to recording, I'm connecting to myself, to my voice, to my guides, and just for that intention for it to really flow effortlessly towards me and then through me to you. So I do believe in this magic, and I do believe that I can afford to do this because it's also the podcast that I'm a host of, and I believe that I can set up my own rules. And maybe my encouragement to you, if you're creating something like a podcast or a program or a book or something, of course you're co-creating it with other people and like the other ones as well, like depending on like what your view is. I co-create with my Akashic records, I co-create with my guides, and I believe that I'm guided, or I make this a priority to be guided. Sometimes it's not that easy, let's put it honestly there. But I do believe, it's that path towards that beauty and that magic when we can feel really liberated and free to express ourselves and the ideas that come to us and the emotions, and it captures the whole essence of it. So it's fully up to you, how you're gonna deal with this. But I believe again that you're here for a reason, listening to this or watching this, and I will probably never stop saying it because this is something I truly believe to be true. And I'm so glad that you're here on the other side. So every time or any time that you have a minute or a second, just you can always just let me know to confirm my theory as well, which I know like in the past has been already multiple times confirmed to me that it's true. But I always love to hear from you and that you're actually there. And remember, this is a momentum. This is a community-driven podcast. So I would love to hear from you. So always feel free to reach out to me either at the email podcast@dariamolnar.com or simply find me on my social media, which I might be leaving eventually because still I'm kind of struggling to accept that's like my kind of long-term inner conflicts of like all these, consumerism there. And maybe this is for another episode as well, because I think it's an important topic. But who knows, one day maybe I will totally leave social media. But at this point, I believe it's important for me to be there and to bring my light there and my offerings and my perspectives and my programs, which I believe are bringing that light to you and to my clients who get on board and who have the time of their lives with us. But that's for another one. So okay, let's go back to today's topic and today's perspective. So you're catching me now in the middle of a real growing pain, of one that was totally unexpected. I didn't plan it. You wouldn't find it in my calendar, or like that I would plan like for, what's the day today? 9th of November is today. That it's gonna come and it's on time, that it's coming. Maybe, perhaps somebody or something did plan it for me. Maybe my soul actually has this little diary that like, okay, it's gonna happen now, that little growing pain or big one. But in my perspective, it wasn't planned, so it kind of feels like it caught me uh, unprepared. But at the same time, if I look back, I know that it was not totally out of the blue, and I have been receiving those hints for the past years, basically. Ever since I dove into one-on-one work, coaching specifically, I always felt like it's amazing, and it was giving me so much purpose and so much joy. Yet there was always this like kind of pull within me that I was like always like just like putting to the side. And I felt it when I was running. So I've been doing this work for more than 4 years, full-time coach and mentor. And whenever I was getting this, and these were received truly when I was running and getting this idea of a group program, I always felt like, oh my goodness, yes, that's it. And I always felt that my entire heart would get included and would get involved and would get super passionate and enthusiastic. And those were my like kind of, I don't even know how to describe them to you, but it's like vehicles that would take me immediately, instantly to those super, like, amazing lands and wonderlands. And it's as I'm calling this, or as I name this title, that growing pains are direct pathways to Wonderland or magic or however you want to call it. But I love calling it Wonderland because I do believe it's, this beautiful space with all these unlimited magical things which are on the other side. And it's worth, basically what I'm trying to say with this, that it's worth going through that growing pain because there's always something amazing on the other side of it. Yeah, and I think I used the word black holes, which actually I'm not, that knowledgeable in this area, but it's my husband who's like, I don't know, somehow for some reason bringing up the topic of black holes, which, like, bless him, I think it's actually cool. Maybe it's time for me that I should also like learn a bit more, especially when I'm like confident enough in using it as a title in my title in my podcast as well. But hey, I think it's perfect where it is, and perhaps one day I'm gonna be an astronomist, right? Is that it? But I'm more interested in astrology actually than astronomy. Okay. Either way, I feel like, yes, when I picture these black holes and in this setup, in this meaning, as I was talking about, I really feel like you have that growing pain on that one side, and then you're feeling like, okay, and it's there, it's real, and it's growing, and then you get into it, and then I believe that, isn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, actually, if you know more about black holes, just please reach out, educate me, feel free. I'm happy to be educated on topics that I don't know or understand or have limited perspective of. But then, like, you basically go through a black hole, and I'm not sure actually if a black hole is really. Don't we all die if we get into a black hole? Maybe we do. But okay, in my world or in this, scenario, a black hole is really more like a tunnel. Yeah, like a tunnel. So like basically you jump into this tunnel, and I know there's like extreme amount of gravity, or something like that that's happening there. And then basically like throws you out on the other side, in my idea, and that's gonna be the Wonderland with like lots of flowers and like beautiful trees and animals and unseen and elemental beings and angels and well, birds and butterflies, whatever you would like in your Wonderland. This is how my Wonderland sounds. Oh yeah, and there's beautiful music as well playing there somehow, maybe harp. I always dreamed of learning to play the harp. I have not done it yet, but I think maybe it's gonna happen as well at some point. Who knows? One day I might play the harp for you. Who knows, But I'm a pianist. I've been playing the piano since I was, I don't know, I learned to climb the little chair to sit in front of the piano that we had at home, and then I could already like start playing around with that. But the black holes, okay? So in my Wonderland on the other side of black hole, there is this like beautiful music as well, and it's just really worth getting there. Okay. So what I also wanted to say today with the okay, not just the black holes but the growing pains is I feel like there are three different levels that I want to cover with you today to basically look at them. And then I'm going to share with you my current growing pains so that you can also, I can uncover some real stuff which is for real going on now in my life. But if you're in that stage, or if you're just exploring this idea of growing pains and how you can look at them, by the way, a lot of my clients, they come to me and they call me that I'm actually a growing pain like master, or like enchanter, or how do you call it, speller maybe, who can really like deal with it. And I've been actually, the truth is I love growing pains. Yes, I do love, and of course I love guiding others through them, because I see and feel there's so much potential on the other side of them. But let's look at them through the three different perspectives. So if you're appearing in front of a growing pain, you first need to know what a growing pain is. So in my perspective, or before that, maybe observe, explore your own perspective. So what is a growing pain to you? What do you picture? What do you imagine that growing pain means to you? What are the growing pains that you have experienced in your own life? It could be in your business, in your personal life, in your health, in your relationships, wherever, whichever area you feel is important to you and your purpose in this lifetime. And just you can have like a little, browse through your so far experience and just like see like, okay, this was a growing pain, this was a growing pain, okay, experience this. To me, a growing pain is related to, and I think maybe this is actually where it's coming from as well, like when we have, when we're actually growing as children. And I know that some children have this more. Like I think my cousin actually is, or my niece is going through this right now, that she's growing. She's literally growing. She's 11. And I hope I'm saying it right. Sorry, my sister, if this age thing is always a trouble for me. Yeah. But so that basically as we grow, it can hurt. Like the bones grow too quick and the muscles react to it. So it can actually cause pain, like literal pain, like physical pain. So the growing pains in my perspective is the same thing. So basically we grow, maybe even like too fast in a way, or it feels like we're growing too fast. And then like, oh, there's this contraction, and then there's this like pain, and like we feel like, oh my God, it's going too fast, or we're afraid, or something. There can be like this kind of retraction in a way, I hope that's a word, or like this contraction into like, okay, come back to not growing actually, because that is more comfortable. There's nothing really going on in a way of like which would be extraordinary or unusual or something like that. So this is basically, I believe that growing pains occurs in any part of our lives. It can really be, as I said, I'm not going to repeat myself. You're listening. You will know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I believe in your genius and your wisdom and your attention and your logical and beautiful intuitive mind. So I'm not going to repeat myself. Yes, I believe in you, my dear listener or watcher on the other side. Anyway, we all know now what growing pain is. Now you can even explore the growing pains that you've recently experienced, or you can go even like years earlier, depending on how you're feeling right now, where you want to go explore. And the black holes in the Wonderland, I already described those. So that's the first, yeah? So what are they? And then when do they occur? We also covered that. So they occur, I believe. Oh, we didn't say that yet. So I believe growing pains only occur to us when we are ready for them. Yes, so I do believe that if you're experiencing a growing pain of any kind, that means that you are ready for it. Because I don't believe that they would come to us if we would not be ready for them. And for this, I can go more in depth as well, because in my life, I feel like I've been more times, really, number of times in situations when I feel like a growing pain came and I was not ready for it. I felt that I'm not ready for it. For example, I got pregnant when we were together with my now husband for 2 months. And it was totally like unplanned and unexpected. And it was a massive, I want to say surprise, but it was actually more than that. It was a shocking surprise, because it was just like, yeah, It was a beautiful surprise now looking back with some perspective, but at that moment it was a growing pain because, oh my god, so what are we gonna do? This is a life-changing thing. Are we ready for it? And that was the answer. Of course, we were ready for it because it came to us and it felt like, okay, we can handle it, and I will definitely record one episode talking about this more because people often ask me about this. So I do want to have you that option to hear the story from me directly as well at some point. But growing pains, that's the beauty of them, that they have some beauty on the other side of them. And if they occur, you are ready for them. Believe me that you are ready for them, or you're ready to face them. That is absolutely for sure 100% that you can face them. The amount of your readiness to face them is 100%. When the mind comes and like tries to explain that or like doubt that is your inner work to basically face that, address this, hire help if you feel like it's too much. There are always people who are ready to help, to guide you through as well, but you're ready. Like it wouldn't come to you if you were not. And there's something, some magic, some treasure hidden inside of that. Now that's the third level that I want to address is, so how to deal through or with those growing pains that came to us. And you're like Daria saying that I'm ready for them, so what do I do with them? How do I handle them? And I'm gonna tell you my perspective, which is the only way how to deal with growing pains in my perspective is through them, going through them. So not avoiding them, not like snoozing them like the alarm in the morning, or saying that, like pretending that I'm invisible, it's not happening. And believe me, I'm speaking from experience. Like I know this, and I can also do this, but it's not gonna leave, and it's not supposed to. It's not meant to leave. So, in order for you to really grow through those growing pains, you need to go through them. Yeah. Just like with fear, like I believe overcoming fear is only going through that fear, not around it, not avoiding, not above it, not under it, but going, like collecting and having that courage and curating the courage to go through it. And I know that you can do it. And I know if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I mean, or you can picture what I mean by saying this, but I know that you have all that it takes for you to successfully go through that growing pain or fear, because growing pains, they often come with fears as well. Just a few words. I don't want this to be too long, but let's talk a little bit. I'm gonna share with you about my current growing pain of the day, of the week, of the month, of the year, perhaps. But yeah, it kind of feels big. So, and those who actually follow me on Instagram, they already know this if they watched the video that I've recently uploaded and shared there openly. So my work is now changing. I just felt like more things happened that really guided me to that decision that I am really closing the door of, not entirely closing, but kind of like semi-closing the door towards one-on-one coaching. And I don't know what sound to make with this, but as I said, it's not that surprising actually. But what is surprising for me that it's actually real, and I acted on it, and I followed this, and I even announced this publicly. And it feels like now I'm like, okay, like I'm struggling to breathe sometimes because I'm afraid. Like, okay, so I'm closing this door. So what am I gonna happen now? Like, where are we gonna like make living from? Or what am I gonna like go sustain my family? And like, what are we gonna do? So these all like valid existential fears, of course, like came up the second I decided that I'm gonna follow this nudge, and I'm actually gonna close this door and like reframe my business so that it's not built mainly, because the one-on-one work was absolutely honestly my main source of income, and like it was the main thing that was going on. And now I decided to ditch it. That's how I called it. And it's not that I wouldn't have some other idea. So I'm not just gonna be sitting, in the corner, like, and just like waiting for miracles. That's not me. And people who know me, they know like that's like so not me. I'm not gonna be the person like sitting for a miracle, because I actually stand up and I go and do things. But it's really in the state of rewiring it. And I know that on the what I know so far, and perhaps I don't know it all, and I'm sure I don't know the whole concept and the whole thing which is on the other side, but what I know is that what's on the other side is group work. So diving into working more, I feel like with groups, I feel like I already have like 2 group programs, that one of them is already in the semi-launch, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a beautiful year-long program, which is super easy on the wallet, yet it's super transformational, and it's I love this. It's a really like a dear to my heart and to my soul, and I love the people who were in the on the round of this year, and I can't wait to publicly launch the next year one as well. So that is going to happen. Then I have another group program that I've been marinating and wanting to launch for like I think over 2 years, because it's extremely dear to my soul and my gifts and what I believe I came here to do and to share with you and share with the world. And that's currently like in the making, but it's a little bit like so now I'm navigating this, so I have that desire within me to be really going ahead, proceeding with this, and really helping this beautiful program that came to me see the light of see the light of the world. Is it how we call it? Doesn't matter, not important. You know what I mean. I know that you're super smart and you know exactly, you get me. And then so there's this excitement and this desire and this passion, and then there are those fears that I mentioned, and they are a little bit paralyzing. I know that you know that this is a frequent feature of a fear, that it comes and it numbs our activity, and it's kind of like either not slowing us down, but I feel like it's got this numbing quality. Like there is this pepper that you have it. I don't know the type of it, I mean the name of it, but it's kind of numbing your tongue. And then what you do after you eat it, you can either enjoy it, the numbness and these, feelings, like unusual things which are happening in your mouth, and then wait for it to pass. Yeah. Or you can also eat something else to like bring some other flavor to it. What I'm doing now is I'm like really trying to like navigate this and kind of enjoy this weird light numbness, and also allow myself to have the spaciousness that I need. So this is the alchemy I'm currently doing. So I'm having this like desire and this like existential fears, and at the same time I have this super super beautiful peace that I'm experimenting and experiencing, and it's coming from that decision of closing this step now. And I'm still gonna do some one-on work. So like human design readings for now, they're still gonna be going on, although I know that at some point I will also stop doing them. I feel it that it's going to happen, it's inevitable. Akashic Records readings, these are so dear to my soul that I can't even imagine that door I would ever close. I was about to close this door, by the way, when I was going through that intense training mentorship with my mentor. I was learning how to read the Akashic Records. It took 4 months, and I was going through I did many readings for like people for free. It was part of the training that I had to complete, and I overdid it. I just put too many on them, and that's for another story time maybe. But that's actually when I was very close to like, no, just freak it. I'm not gonna do this again. Like it doesn't feel good. Like my body is giving me some weird responses to this, and I was like, maybe this is not for me. But ultimately, it is the favorite tool that I know, and I'm using it for myself, for my business. Yes, because my business and your business, if you have one, which I believe you do, has its own Akashic records also. It's super magical. It's super magical. So as you can see, I'm a generator, and you can feel in me this like, yeah, I'm bubbling now. So this means this is for me now, for sure. So Akashic records, you can like rest, assured that these are still gonna be happening. But I also close them for some time when I feel like, okay, I need a break. I do. So if you're feeling called to this, and I'm gonna share the links how you can actually book one with me, don't wait for too long, because it happens organically, like when I open the space and when I close it. But yeah, so some one-on work is still gonna happen. In my group programs, I will always have some one-on-one possibilities as well to connect, like with the low cost ones, or like the more like accessible, friendly to your wallet. Those options are limited to have some one-on-one, because those are super valuable, of course, as we all know. But the programs that I'm planning to do more of, it's always gonna be there. And another thing that I'm really dreaming of, like bringing to my business, are retreats in person. And I just said it, and I'm like, yes, oh my god, yes, I want to do that. Yes, I want to do it so much. Yet right now, honestly, the fear is still super present, and like this numbness on my tongue, and it's kind of like, oh my god, it's overwhelming actually. How can I organize my own retreat, and so many things that I would need to resolve and plan and stuff. But I know it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. And you can already let me know. I already know from a couple people that actually they are waiting for it. And I know perhaps maybe you as well, something was sparked inside of you, that's something you would be super interested in. And those are going to be super magical, transformational space in a group setup. And that's just, yes, 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 yes. So as you can see, my soul is guiding me, and my soul is guiding me through joy. And this is where I want to end today. So now you know a little bit more about my situation, and you know as well these mixed feelings that I have. And what I want to focus on now in the next days and weeks is actually finding ways to be of service, finding that devotion inside of me, and that peace and that guidance towards the next activities that already I have lined up, but I'm waiting for those moments, or I'm co-creating, of course, the environment for it to come to me, that I feel happy and joyful about it and having fun with it. This is what my husband suggested to me today when I was doing a human design reading for a client. And before that, he just said, yeah, have fun. I was like, whoa, that sounded so well. This actually got me exactly, this is what I needed to hear, because he doesn't usually say this to me. But that's exactly, it just resonated so well. And I know that that's exactly what I want to be focusing on, and in my activities as well, and in the things that I'm going to bring to life and into my business. And you, my friend on the other side, you can be freaking looking forward to it, because it's going to be worth it. And as you know me, I put my everything into the programs that I curate, and they are truly exceptional in the quality and the standards, in the comfort and the support that you're receiving, and the guidance, and my everything. And I wouldn't ever give less than that, because it's just like, I feel like it's the prolonging of my soul. So it's my nature to be that, and I never lose energy doing this from the heart and creating for you the most amazing spaces. But I actually gain, and it's beautiful, and we both gain, and that's the beauty. And I think the mutuality of this connection is, and the connection, the community that comes from it, is exactly what we are aiming for in the humankind also. So I'm glad to be passing this message to you. If it will resonate somewhere, take it. And I'm gonna say my bye with this, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Any of your comments or reactions or experiences, definitely reach out to me. I'll be happy to hear from you. And I'm wishing you beautiful, beautiful November, autumn, transformational Scorpio days.